Hello, everyone. This is me, Pastor Stephen of Healthy Expressions. And wow, the summer, it's August, mid-August. I can't believe that, man, summer is flying through. So I hope you're really enjoying the summer, enjoying time with your significant other or your spouse. And if you need some tips or pointers, this is the place to be at. This is the place to watch and listen. This is the place also to take notes, because today it's a very interesting topic, and that you need to take some notes. Like there's no getting around it. I know that some of you don't like to take notes. Some of you don't like to write things down, but I guarantee that if you write these things down, that it will really help you. So we're going to look at today, we're going to look at how to create a healthy, unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. Now, this is what I ask all my couples that I work with. So what is necessary for a relationship? Is it unconditional love or conditional love? And I first ask them, what is unconditional love? They say, loving the other person unconditionally. And what is conditional love? Conditional love is loving the other person with conditions. My last question to them is, then which one do you need? In reality, you need a bit of both. If you can imagine a circus tent, right? A big tent, and then you have the poles. Well, there should be unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, like that tent, but there should be these poles, conditions in your relationship or marriage. For example, you will be faithful to the other person. You won't lie is another condition. You won't, physically or emotionally harm the other person. There are certain conditions you want to create unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, but there should be certain conditions because we're not perfect people. I mean, it would be great that every marriage, every relationship had and was filled with unconditional love, but that's not going to happen. So there should be certain conditions that both of you can talk about and agree upon to say, this is what we want in our relationship or marriage. So I started today saying, how to create unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. And there are 12 things. 12. I know that's a lot, but 12 things that you and the other person can do to foster and create an unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. All right. So let's go with the first one. The first one is accept that you don't know the whole story. What that means is, how a lot of couples, they don't trust the other person, that if they try to call them or text them and they don't reply, their instant thought is that they're doing something wrong, they're cheating on me, or they're doing something that they shouldn't be doing. Well, don't if you don't know the full story, ask them. Don't assume that you know what's going on. So accept that you don't know the whole story. 2, love yourself unconditionally. In order for there to be unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, you must love yourself unconditionally. Now, that doesn't mean that you accept all the major flaws that you have, but you should be able to love yourself unconditionally. And because I have this saying, you can't give something what you don't have. Right? If I have 2 sons, if they came to me and they asked for a chocolate chip cookie, if I don't have a chocolate chip cookie, I can't give it to them. If you want to foster unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, and you want to give that unconditional love to the other person, you have to start with yourself. You have to have unconditional love for yourself. Yes, there's some things, maybe you want to lose some weight, maybe you want to quit smoking, maybe there's some bad habits that you have, but you have to love yourself unconditionally in order for there to be unconditional love in your relationship. So I think a lot of us have a lot of work to do to work on that, right? Maybe, if you're asking that other person, hey, I want this unconditional love from you, but if you're not doing that, how can you ask that? Number 3, in order to create this environment of unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, choose the more loving option. I tell all couples, there's only one thing you can control. It's not the weather. It's not your pet dog. It's not your kids. It's not your job. It's you. You have the power to control what you say and how you react. And so choose the more loving option. So if your spouse or the other person, they have a bad day and they come home and they're very short with you, they bite your head off, so to speak. Well, you can retaliate and say something nasty back at them, or you can decide, I'm going to choose the more loving option. I'm going to be more patient. I'm going to ask them what happened. What happened? Ask them that, to say, you know what, you seemed a little edgy. You seemed a little upset. What happened? So choose the more loving option. I guarantee you that if you do, it won't end up in a fight. It won't end up where you're saying some mean and nasty things to the other person or vice versa. 4th, forgive. There must be a layer of forgiveness characteristic in your life in order for there to be unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. Right? This is the hardest thing to do, to forgive people who are closest to us, because the people closest to us, we open up. We're very vulnerable to. And when we get hurt by them, I think it stings or hurts a little bit more. But in order to have this unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, you must be able to forgive the other person. You need to forgive. And I hate to say this, you're not perfect. The other person isn't perfect. You have flaws, they have flaws. You will make mistakes, they will make mistakes. So have forgiveness in the very foundation of your relationship or marriage. 5, practice honesty. Practice honesty. And I like to say this a lot. Everyone knows what brutal honesty is. If you live in the East Coast, you definitely know what brutal honesty is. Brutal honesty is, I tell you the truth, I tell you the facts, but I don't care about your feelings. Let me repeat that. Brutal honesty is, I tell you the facts, I tell you the truth, but I don't care about your feelings. In your relationship or marriage, there should not be brutal honesty. There should be loving honesty, where you prepare the words, prepare the way that you want to explain to the other person things that they kind of annoy you or kind of hurt you. Loving honesty. You tell them the truth, but you use wise words, loving words, so that they don't feel very hurt. I've met some people, and they say, that's who I am. I tell the truth. I'm point blank. I'm direct. Well, if you are in a relationship, committed relationship or marriage, and if you say that you love that other person, see, when you say you love another person, you're willing to change and adapt to them. willing to change some of your characteristics and your methods. Well, if you say, this is who I am, this is what you get, I'm not going to change, then you have to question, do they really love you enough to change? So please, if there is brutal honesty in your relationship or marriage, change it to loving honesty. Be willing to say the truth, but using loving words and waiting for the right time to say it. Prepare it in your head before you tell the other person. So practice honesty. Number 6, share your needs. And I usually bring this up, number 6, I emphasize this to husbands. Again, the word to avoid, the concept to avoid in your relationship or marriage is assumptions, assuming. So a lot of husbands I talk to, or men, they say, I am assuming that they know that I have certain needs. And I think you have to really understand this concept. For you husbands, if you really want to get intimate with your significant other or your wife, right? I tell them that, you know what, you need to be able to tell and share your needs to the other person, right? Tell your needs to the other person. Don't assume that they know, right? Don't assume that they have, all this knowing that, what, you want to be intimate. Don't think that they can, if you use certain moves or the way that you put your hands, that they're like, okay. But I think that you need to just tell them, hey, tonight I would like to have sex. And a lot of husbands are uncomfortable with that. And I ask them why. You get to the point, you share your needs, and there's no frustration, because if you tell them, I would like to have sex tonight, and they're tired or they're not in the mood, they'll say, okay, maybe in a couple of days or this weekend. That's communicating. And then the husband is aware of that. He's not thinking in his head, well, doesn't she get the signs? No. Open, honest, direct communication. Share your needs will create this lasting, unconditional environment in your relationship or marriage. Number 7, ensure that you understand the needs of your partner. See, you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage. It's not about you. And so it might be good to take the initiative and tell or ask the other person, what are your needs? Am I meeting them? Is it the need to help more around the house? Is it the need to put in more financially? Is it the other person's need, if they need more help with the kids? And ensure that you understand the needs of your partner, because it is not two, but a team. Not two people, but a team, one entity. So this is where, a lot of people make mistakes in their relationship or marriage, is because they're selfish. They don't ask their partner, their significant other, or their spouse, hey, do you need help? What can I do to, support you and to meet your needs. And it's hard. I understand. Many of you watching this, right, you have jobs, you have maybe kids, you have a lot of responsibilities. And it's really hard, right, to meet the needs of your significant other or spouse. But in order to have this unconditional environment, unconditional love in your relationship or marriage, to have a healthy relationship or marriage, you have to do that. You have to ask them. Don't wing it. Don't pretend you know. Just ask them, hey, what can I help you? What are some needs that I can support you with? And this connects with the eighth one, communicate. I'm a big proponent of communicate, communicate, communicate. There was a couple that I knew, they were married for like 53 years. And I asked the gentleman, when did you know your wife? He paused for a few seconds and he goes, I still don't. See, we change. We're not the same person. I definitely was not the same person last year or 5 years ago, pre-pandemic, 10 years ago. I changed. So is my wife. So are you. So is your significant other or spouse. We change over time. For a lot of relationships and marriages, there are troubling times because they don't communicate. They don't communicate. This should be very important in your relationship or marriage to have it healthy, to have unconditional love, is to communicate. Number 9, assume the best until proven otherwise. I think when there's anxiety, when you don't trust, then you will always assume the worst in the other person. And if you have that in your mindset, that whatever that person does, whatever they don't respond quick enough, or they don't do certain things in a certain way, don't jump to conclusions and think that they're doing something wrong. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Give them the benefit of the doubt. Because if you don't trust them, it will slowly come out in your interactions, your communication with that other person. Trust must be one of the strongest foundations in your relationship or marriage. So when you can't trust them, it's on a very weak foundation, and anything can easily destroy it. So assume the best until proven otherwise. Number 10, be supportive. What we try to do, what our society tells us, is to discourage, push other people down, even people closest to us. What I'm asking you is that you're able to encourage and build each other up. That is one of your goals in your relationship or marriage. To encourage the other person, to build them up to the best possible version that they can be. So sometimes when they want to take a chance, maybe quit their jobs and do something different, I know it's scary, but be supportive. Our lives are, it's not about having a lot of money or having nice things. It's about the people that you love, that you have these wonderful experiences with them. Imagine what it will be like if you support the other person in their life when they were scared to, but they wanted to take that leap of faith. Your support could do wonders for them. And that will fuel your relationship and marriage to be filled with unconditional love. Number 11, and this is hard, be open to change. No one likes change. Everyone likes to be comfortable. Everyone likes to like what they like. I whenever I go to a diner, two things I order: scrambled eggs and bacon, white toast with strawberry jam, or it's French toast, bacon. Um, Maybe sometimes I get white toast still with strawberry jam. It's the same. You take away the French toast and it's scrambled eggs. Take away the scrambled eggs, it's French toast. But my kids asked me when they were young, why don't you get something else? Change is hard. But if you say that you love the other person, you say that you want to take this journey with them through life, you have to change. You have to change. I've worked with husbands who are 42 and married for about 12 years, and they have two little kids, but he still wants to hang out with his single guy friends. And what do single guys want to do? They want to go out to the club. They want to meet some, females. And there's a saying that I heard in a movie in the 80s that the world is full of guys, but there's very few men in it. And I told that husband, who was 42, stop acting like you're 22. In reality, I didn't want to say it, but he was more like 15, mentally and emotionally, because he wanted to live that life still. And I said, you can't. You have to change. Your life is different. You're older. You're married. You have kids. You have responsibilities. You have to change. If not, you are going to lose your wife. You're going to lose your kids. I'm going to pause right there. I know we're almost finished with this 12 tips on how to create an unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. I'm going to talk to the men here, because the men, I'm not saying that the women, the girlfriends or the wives don't cause drama in their relationship or marriage, but majority are the men. And I'm telling you, and I want to speak to you, men. You have to change. If you don't want to be in that relationship, if you want to live your life full of fun and going out and meeting new females and all that kind of stuff, then don't be committed in a serious relationship. Don't get married. Don't have kids. But if you said, I want to marry this person because I love them, and I have these kids because I love them, want kids, you can't have the best of both worlds. You have made your decision and you have to stick by it. So you have to change. And so I tell people, what we value most, we will put our attention, our resources, our passion to. And you can say, and I'm talking to you men, you can say, I love this woman, she is my soulmate. But words are cheap. Actions speak louder than words. If you say that you love them, then you will sacrifice a lot of things and you will change. That was number 11. The 12th and the last one is focus on your shared vision for the future. It is a joint adventure in this crazy world called life. And when you start to communicate and share with this person, I want to have this future with you. I can't wait until we buy our first house together. I can't wait until we have kids. I can't wait until we move to this part of the country. Focus on your shared vision of the future, and it will slowly bring you together and be really connected. Focus on your shared vision for the future. It will bring you guys together and create this unconditional love in your relationship or marriage. So you create and practice unconditional love each day by the choices you and your partner make. If you say that your relationship marriage is in a bad place, then do something. You have the power to do it. Create this unconditional love environment. You have the power to do it. So I hope that these 12 tips really helped you and really got you to start thinking, I need to change and do a few things to make our relationship, marriage healthier and better. And so I just, at the end of this show, is my website, healthyexpressions.online, has all my information, has the different package programs, the amount of each program, how you can pay. So if you're having issues and problems in your relationship or marriage to the point of divorce, thinking about divorce or breaking up, or there's no major problems, but you just want to avoid some of these issues in the future, contact me. On my website, it has all my email, my phone number. Contact me. I want you to have an amazing, healthy, unconditional love-filled relationship and marriage. But you have to do the hard work. You have to do these things. So I want you to take the time, communicate with your significant other or spouse, and say, hey, I want to maybe contact this person and maybe get something going so that we can have this amazing life together. So I want you to have a great day, have a great week. Just love the other person and see how blessed you are with them. So have a good day, have a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye now.